Vikings, let's win the game.
Attention, Vikings fan. The bye week is here, but the drama didn't take a break in Minnesota. ESPN reignited the debate about Carson Wentz. An unexpected statement revealed the true impact of Kevin O'Connell, and the team brought back a veteran presence to strengthen the locker room. On the horizon, their next opponent loses its biggest weapon, and 5 Vikings players are starting to reshape the direction of this season. But before diving into all the details, let me tell you something real quick. Hit that subscribe button. It's completely free and it really helps grow this purple community. Smash the like button too, because that's how YouTube sends this video to more Vikings fans across the world. And drop a comment below because this space belongs to everyone who lives and breathes Vikings Nation. ESPN threw more fuel on the fire this bye week. Carson Wentz might remain the Vikings starting quarterback for at least one more game. That's right. Even with J.J. McCarthy close to returning, reporter Kevin Seifert made it clear that head coach Kevin O'Connell hasn't made a final decision yet. And to be honest, that has the entire Purple Faithful divided. Wentz has started the last 3 games, going 2-1. Solid numbers, nothing spectacular, but enough to keep the team alive. Still, ESPN insists the veteran can't be ruled out for the matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles, coming right after the bye. And let's be honest, that game has history. Wentz will face the team that drafted him and later discarded him without hesitation. If there's ever a game filled with personal motivation, it's this one. What's curious is that O'Connell has already said McCarthy would return to practice this week and should be ready soon, so why even consider keeping Wentz? Maybe the fear of rushing the rookie and disrupting the offensive rhythm just as things are settling in. Wentz brings experience, but he's also dealing with a sore left shoulder, the same one that forced him out briefly against the Browns. O'Connell said he was pretty sore, which in O'Connell speak means really sore. And here's the dilemma. What's riskier, putting McCarthy back in before he's fully healed or rolling with a banged-up Wentz against one of the league's top teams? Honestly, it's one of those decisions that defines the tone of the second half of the season. To complicate things further, ESPN also pointed out that Wentz has outplayed McCarthy's first 2 weeks, but the QBR ranking still puts him far from elite, 27th in the NFL. He's doing the game manager job well enough, avoiding major mistakes but lacking explosive plays. And for an offense that relies heavily on rhythm, that's a problem. The emotional layer adds even more weight. The Eagles' storyline. You can bet Wentz wants that revenge game. Even at 80%, he'll want to prove something. And if O'Connell believes that fire can light up the locker room, maybe he holds McCarthy out one more week. In the end, this is a strategic call. Build for the future or win now. Truth is, the future feels closer every day. McCarthy's ankle is healing fast. He's back on the field, and the Vikings need consistency. Drop your thoughts below. Would you stick with Wentz against the Eagles or bring McCarthy back right away? Because the next story might just change how fans see Kevin O'Connell's entire impact on this team. You know those stories that show how a great coach's influence goes way beyond the field? This is one of them. Former Vikings quarterback Daniel Jones, now thriving in Indianapolis, revealed that Kevin O'Connell completely changed the way he sees the game, and the impact was so deep it became a national talking point. For those who forgot, Jones arrived in Minnesota after being released by the Giants. He was seen as a backup nearing the end of his career, just a depth piece while J.J. McCarthy and Sam Darnold adjusted. But even without playing a single snap, he absorbed everything. Jones said O'Connell, Josh McCown, and Grant Udinski ran their quarterback room with next-level precision. He mentioned daily quizzes, coverage recognition drills, and intense walkthroughs that demanded accountability. I watched how Sam prepared, how Kevin demanded every detail, how they challenged each other every single day, Jones said. That made me realize what being truly ready to command an NFL offense means. And the result? He's won 4 of his first 5 games with the Colts, playing the best football of his career. Honestly, it proves that O'Connell has turned Minnesota into a quarterback rehab lab. Darnold was reborn here, Jones reinvented himself, and now Carson Wentz is next in line. Coincidence? Not at all. This system is built to rebuild confidence and simplify decision-making, and it's working. Wentz, who arrived under skepticism, has thrown for 759 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions in 3 games. Not MVP numbers, but for a guy written off by most, it's a comeback. Jones also described O'Connell as aggressive and fearless in his play calling, a trait that gives quarterbacks permission to trust their arm and attack the field. That leads to a big question. Can Wentz follow in their footsteps and reignite his career under O'Connell's guidance? The raw talent is there. Consistency is the key, and O'Connell seems to know how to unlock it. If Wentz repeats the success of his predecessors, the Vikings might have cracked the code to staying competitive no matter who's under center. And don't go anywhere, because the next update involves a surprising veteran addition during the bye week that could quietly reshape Minnesota's offense. While Vikings fans enjoy the bye week, the front office has been anything but idle. Minnesota made an intriguing move, bringing back veteran tight end Nick Vannett to the practice squad. The 32-year-old, a former third-round pick by the Seattle Seahawks in 2016, has bounced around the league: Broncos, Saints, Giants, Chargers, Steelers, Titans, you name it. He first signed with the Vikings in August before being released at the start of the bye, and now he's back. It's a smart, stabilizing move by Kevin O'Connell, adding depth and leadership to a position that needed both. To be fair, it might seem like a minor signing, but having a veteran who's seen multiple systems and knows the grind of locker room leadership is invaluable during a transitional stretch like this. Vannett has totaled just over 1,000 receiving yards and 9 touchdowns in his career, and his physical middle field style brings some toughness to the tight end group. The Vikings also re-signed defensive guard Vershawn Lee, who had appeared on special teams in the win over Cleveland, showing steady progress. These two additions reveal O'Connell's clear intent: maintain competition even during the break. The team also released former Cowboys fifth-rounder Matt Waletzko to make room, another sign of roster fine-tuning ahead of the huge matchup against the Philadelphia Eagles. 4 starting offensive linemen entered the bye hurt. That alone explains much of the offensive inconsistency so far. Bringing Vannett and Lee back isn't just about depth, it's about keeping the engine running. Hawkinson remains the centerpiece, Josh Oliver the top backup, but beyond them, the rotation needed another reliable option. These kinds of low-profile mid-season moves are what separate sharp organizations from the rest. Minnesota isn't waiting for problems, they're preventing them. Stay tuned, because next up we'll talk about how the Vikings just dodged a major bullet heading into their next primetime showdown. Not every good break comes from inside Minnesota. Sometimes it arrives straight from California. This time, Vikings Nation can exhale. Their next opponent, the Los Angeles Chargers, will be without rookie sensation Omarion Hampton. The running back was placed on injured reserve and is officially out for Thursday Night Football against the Vikings, and that's a big deal. Hampton had been one of the few bright spots in the Chargers offense, racking up more than 300 rushing yards and 2 receiving touchdowns in just 5 games. To be honest, the kid was electric. Since Najee Harris tore his Achilles, Hampton had become the heartbeat of that offense. But now, with his ankle injury, head coach Jim Harbaugh will have to rely on an emergency committee. That means Kamani Vidal and Hassan Haskins step into the spotlight. 2 names that may not grab attention at first glance, but both have plenty to prove. Harbaugh even said, "It's their time to shine." The truth is, this completely changes the Chargers' offensive balance, and that's great news for the Vikings' defense. Brian Flores can dial up more aggressive blitzes without worrying about explosive runs breaking free. And there's more. Without Hampton, Justin Herbert will have to throw even more. Against a surging secondary, with Isaiah Rodgers and Byron Murphy stepping up, that could spell turnovers. On Minnesota's side, help is also on the way. Veteran running back Aaron Jones is eligible to return from injured reserve in that same game after recovering from a hamstring issue. He's expected to share carries with Jordan Mason, who's done a solid job filling in. If Jones is fully healthy, that duo could finally bring consistency to the ground game. So here's the setup. The Vikings are rested, reinforcements are coming, and their opponent just lost its most dangerous weapon. Sometimes luck plays defense too, and this time, it's wearing purple. But stick around, because the next part is a big one. 5 Vikings players who are quietly and convincingly raising the bar this season. Now this is the fun part. Time to recognize who's really making an impact through the first 5 weeks. 5 players who have stepped up, gained confidence, and shown that Minnesota's depth runs deeper than many thought. Some of these names even surprised the most loyal members of Defend the North. Let's start with Carson Wentz. Say what you want, but the veteran delivered. He stepped into a chaotic situation, stabilized the offense, and led the team to 2 crucial wins. 759 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, and just 2 interceptions in 3 games. He didn't reinvent the wheel, but he brought composure, and for a group that had been stumbling, that's priceless. Another name worth spotlighting, Xavier Scott. The undrafted running back from Maine came out of nowhere, stepping up while Aaron Jones was sidelined. He ran hard, caught passes, scored, and injected rhythm when the team needed it. The kind of player who might not fill the stat sheet but changes momentum. And the fans noticed. On defense, Isaiah Rodgers stole the show. His performance against Cincinnati became instant legend. 2 defensive touchdowns, 2 forced fumbles, and a perfect PFF grade. Pure dominance. Beyond that one epic day, he's been steady and dependable, quietly emerging as a leader in the secondary. In the trenches, Jalen Redmond has been the surprise of the year. The second-year defensive tackle, plucked from the UFL on a minimum contract, leads the team in sacks and has outperformed big names like Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. His energy and disruptive presence have reshaped the rotation. And then there's Levi Drake Rodriguez, 7th-round pick, small school prospect, but already proving he belongs. 4 tackles for loss, relentless effort, and toughness that perfectly fits Brian Flores' scheme. He's not backing down from anyone. Together, these 5 embody what Minnesota wants to be: resilient, adaptable, and fearless. No excuses, no shortcuts. If the growth continues like this, the ceiling for this team just got a whole lot higher. But don't leave yet. The conclusion ties everything together, and it's for those who truly bleed purple. 5 weeks down, and one thing's clear: this team is growing up fast. Wentz has shown grit. McCarthy's return is near. The defense has found its swagger, and the locker room has fully bought into O'Connell's vision. You can feel something different building in Minnesota. The Purple Faithful have every reason to believe, and it's not just talk. This roster has learned to fight together. And when the fans and the team pull in the same direction, the impossible just becomes another Sunday. Drop a comment. This space belongs to everyone who lives the Purple Faithful. Stay tuned. SKOL Vikings, let's go.